That night, Sophia came home. Her lips curved into an easy smile, as though spending the evening with another man was nothing out of the ordinary. But I didn't return it. Instead, I met her with an unflinching stare, my voice cold and final. "You've got 10 minutes to sign the divorce papers and leave my house." What she didn't expect was the other figure standing behind me, Amal, Adrian's wife, whose sudden appearance would turn this night into one she'd never forget. When I first met Sophia, I truly thought we had something genuine. She was brilliant, driven, magnetic, everything I'd ever imagined in a partner. Our lives moved quickly. She thrived as a financial consultant, while I ran a luxury hospitality brand. Both careers were demanding, yet we always seemed to make time for each other, or so I believed. The changes crept in quietly. Sophia, who once made our shared dinners a priority, began staying late at work more often. I brushed it off, assuming it was just the grind of our jobs. I didn't want to be paranoid. I chose to trust her. Then, one evening as we watched TV, her phone buzzed. She silenced it quickly, let out a nervous laugh, and placed it face down on the table. "Who's that?" I asked lightly. She met my gaze. "Just a client. He's a bit too persistent." It sounded reasonable enough, but the stiffness in her shoulders and the white-knuckled grip on her phone told another story. Doubt took root that night, and it didn't leave. In the weeks that followed, the signs multiplied. Her late nights were suspiciously consistent. More missed calls. More secretive texts. Always work-related. But deep down I knew. One evening, while she was out for yet another client meeting, I opened her laptop. She'd forgotten to log out of her email. What I found made my stomach turn. Explicit, intimate exchanges with a man named Adrian. These weren't harmless flirtations. They detailed romantic dinners at upscale restaurants and nights in boutique hotels. I knew Adrian. We'd met at one of her work events. Back then, I noticed the way they stood too close, laughed a bit too loudly. Now it all clicked. Still, I didn't confront her right away. I wanted more than emails. I hired a private investigator. Within weeks, I had it all. Photographs, time-stamped videos, receipts. Proof beyond question. What hit me hardest wasn't just the betrayal. It was discovering that Adrian's wife, Amal, had no idea. I mailed her an anonymous package containing every scrap of evidence, with a short note, "You deserve to know. If you want to talk, call me." It didn't take long for her to reach out. Amal was devastated, but steady. We met in a quiet cafe, laying out everything, the deceit, the humiliation, the pain. "I'm going to confront him," she said, her voice trembling but her eyes burning with resolve. "But I want it to hurt." That spark in her expression lit something in me. "Then let's do it together," I told her. "Let's make sure they never forget." A faint smile curved her lips. "I like the way you think." For weeks, we planned every detail. Sophia had told me she'd be working late on a Saturday. Perfect. I knew she'd be with Adrian, and Amal knew where they'd be dining. I booked a table at the same restaurant ahead of them, choosing a dark corner where we could watch unnoticed. They arrived hand in hand, laughing freely. My anger simmered, but I held it in. The right moment had to come. When their entrees were served, Amal and I rose from our seats and walked to their table. The moment they saw us, their laughter died. A heavy silence swept the room. "Sophia," I said evenly, "you forgot to mention you'd be dining with Adrian tonight." "And you, Adrian," Amal added with icy calm, "seem to have found plenty of free time." Sophia's cheeks flushed. "Jacob, please, I can explain." "You'll have time," I cut in, sliding a folder in front of her. "These are divorce papers. You have 10 minutes to sign them. After that, you're out of my house." "Divorce?" she repeated, as though the word was foreign. "You're overreacting." "No, Sophia. What's ridiculous is thinking I wouldn't find out. What's absurd is how easily you threw away our marriage for this." Adrian started to rise, but Amal pressed a firm hand to his arm. "You're not going anywhere," she said sharply. "We're not finished." She placed her own folder on the table. "This will be on your company's desk Monday morning. Let's see how they feel about their CFO using corporate funds to wine and dine his mistress. Adrian's face drained of color. You wouldn't. I already have, Amal replied, her voice cold as steel. Sophia left that night with nothing but her handbag. By morning, the locks were changed. I had her belongings sent to her parents. She tried everything, calls, texts, even showing up at my work, but I never answered. The divorce moved quickly, and she walked away with far less than she'd expected. Adrian's downfall was swift. Amal followed through, and his company fired him. Word of the affair spread through their community. Amal filed for divorce soon after. Last I heard, he was alone in a shabby apartment, a far cry from the luxury he once flaunted. Amal and I stayed in touch. At first, it was mutual support, helping each other rebuild. But over time, it became something deeper: understanding, respect, and a shared sense of peace. Betrayal cuts deep, but it can also clear the way for reclaiming your strength. The truth isn't just about exposing lies, it's about making sure those responsible never forget the damage they caused. In the end, justice isn't always revenge. Sometimes it's standing tall in the wreckage, knowing you survived with your dignity intact.